cracks in a bowl don't represent the end of its life, but an essential moment in its history. This is weird. Feels like I could just reach out and... I think the last time we touched was just before. On her arm. Her left arm. And she flinched. I think I knew why. I didn't want to. It felt like something so small, something I could just forget. Forgetting only serves to make you think about it more. All the way through an intersection, and then... The weird thing about a car wreck is that the survival part of your brain is still trying to figure out if the situation's salvageable. I think the only thing, the whole thing happened in just a split second, but while it was happening, I was thinking about it like the chip in a teacup, or a crack. As long as it still holds water, right? It's fine. You can forget about this. But once a teacup's cracked, it's cracked forever. And you're reminded of this every time you look at it. Every time you run your fingers across its surface, you can just feel the slightest... The cracks in a bowl don't represent the end of its life, but an essential moment in its history. They came at me with pliers in the ER. And I'm all, what for? I'd already forgotten that 5 or 10 minutes after the whole thing had happened, I had felt something wet in my hand. Blood. Rivers of it coming from... I touched it when I noticed the blood, and I felt something dense inside of there. Inside of me. Made holes so big they couldn't stitch me up. Because there were chunks of me still left out on the road, and I didn't even know. There were pieces of me still there, and pieces of there that had come with me, and I didn't even feel it. Like my body had kept it hidden from me the whole time. Like it was a room in your house that you'd never seen before, a room that someone else had come and put there and that didn't belong to you, and the cracks in a bowl don't represent the end of its life, but an essential moment in its history. What's that saying? The difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut? 3 days. Bowls, plates, teacups, whatever. They crack. They break. Pieces go missing. It takes more than time to fix them. I've heard that people have found this way to make this special lacquer, I guess, this resin, and they mix it with powdered gold of all things. I mean, you could mix whatever you wanted, but they use powdered gold, of course, and they use it to paint over the cracks, to bind it, to mend it, to, I don't know, make it look pretty. And it looks pretty. You're left with these unmistakable golden veins. It's just that some people would say that that's it's a waste of time, or you know, it's frivolous. Because, I mean, the time it takes to learn how to do it, if you want to do it well, it takes years to pick up, a lifetime to master. And if you're working with something that's completely shattered, you're going to be there all day. And the goo, I mean, aside from the fact that it's mixed with gold, they can only get it from this special plant, this one type of plant that you can't harvest it conservatively. You can't save it for later. You have to use the whole thing, all of it. So you can have just a little bit of goo so that you can have your favorite little teacup again. Teacups have it easy. They can just invent closure out of thin air. You can just say, oh, it's a fixer-upper, it's, do it yourself. But when I'm applying my golden powder, more of me erodes away. And when pieces of me float away without ever saying goodbye, I'm just left to wonder, maybe they weren't mine to begin with. Maybe I didn't even know them. The cracks in a bowl don't represent the end of its life, but an essential moment in its history. The cracks in a bowl don't represent the end of its life, but an essential moment in its history. The cracks... From that moment up on the road until now, I can feel it all wash over me. The pieces, the people, the heat, the pain, the anger, the fear. All these things become golden streaks, golden rivers flowing down. And maybe one day I'll just be a lump of gold, desperately trying to hide these pulpy little messes, these dull little echoes that travel still. I hoped I could find those pieces again. Cheat time, make me whole, the way I was. But I know now that there's no going back. And for every piece that I still have, every piece that I cling to, I whisper, remember me. Remember my name. For I fear that I may not myself. The cracks in a bowl don't represent